What's up, you guys? So, if you're watching this video, then it's either a Way Back Wednesday, Throwback Thursday, or Flashback Friday. In any case, we are this close to the weekend, and I hope you're ready for it. Take a break from whatever stresses you out this weekend and just enjoy being you. Because you only get one life to live, so make it a good life. Today, I want to flash back to the 90s TV show that a lot of us grew up on, Sister Sister.
Layla, 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 tells it all. Layla, 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 tells it all. Layla.
Sister Sister was a situation comedy based on the premise of a set of twins who were adopted separately at birth and then randomly run into each other at a local mall. I remember back then I thought it was an outrageous concept, but now that I've grown up and seen documentaries on how hundreds of twins were purposely adopted out separately, it's actually not that outrageous. But it was by far and large a hit TV show, and it actually used to beat out the show Friends in the ratings. The show featured legendary actors Tim Reed and Jackée Harry as adoptive parents, and it featured special guests like Kobe Bryant, Brittany Murphy, Taraji P. Henson, Brian McKnight, Kenan Nickel, and a host of other superstars and soon-to-be superstars. But Tia Mowry revealed that despite the success of the show and it surpassing shows like Friends in the ratings, her and her twin sister were not paid their just due. They were actually paid much, much less than the stars of other shows like Friends, despite their show being more successful. Tia opened up on an episode of her YouTube show, Tia's Quick Fix, and she said, quote, "It was very evident to me when I would walk on sets and see how certain stars or actors would be treated who weren't of ethnicity, better dressing room, better trailer. Now I'm like more aware of what that was, which is a budget. But back then I didn't know what a budget was. It was so clear how you would see one show that didn't have a diverse cast that just had a bigger budget. So everything just seemed bigger and better. But when it came to projects and what I was doing, you actually really visually saw the less than." In an interview with ET, Tia explained, "The show was extremely popular. We were beating, like in the ratings, Friends at that time." And she went on to explain on her own show, "I remember once the show became a hit, it's very normal for you to ask for a raise. That's what happens, right? People get raises. But it was always so hard for my sister and I to get what we felt we deserved, and our paycheck never equaled our counterparts that weren't of diversity. And that was frustrating. Very, very frustrating." For reference, and according to reports, the stars of Friends were initially paid at the minimum of $22,000 an episode. That was reportedly their starting rate. But at the height of the show, they had bargained together as a unit and demanded $1 million per episode. Business Insider reports, when the cast won their $1 million an episode salaries, the show had just recovered from seasons of declining ratings and was enjoying its highest rated season in 5 years. But the stars really wanted to do other things, which meant the show was close to ending. It would end up running just 2 more seasons, but no one at the time knew exactly. And if NBC felt it could get at least 1 more year of Friends, it would take that. The network needed all the time it could get. None of the shows NBC produced in 8 years showed the ability to replace Friends. That year, Friends was averaging 24.7 million viewers a week, about 2 million viewers more than any show in television. It also rated highly with young viewers, the kind advertisers always want. To make the timing even more critical, salary negotiations were still open as the show had just 4 scripts left in the season. The writers had to know if they needed to write a proper series ending. It was also getting close to network upfronts, which are the annual presentations of the season's upcoming schedule to potential advertisers. So if NBC didn't have Friends on its schedule, it would have been disastrous for advertising sales. That's what's most important, you guys. I hope you guys have picked that up. When it comes to television, even digital content, advertising drives a lot. Business Insider goes on to explain that the odds were stacked against NBC and looking good for the show's stars. According to accounts of the events, the Friends cast didn't just decide to band together for $1 million in 2002. They had been negotiating their salaries together since the show's third season, but that required two of the stars to take initial pay cuts. As the central couple of the show, David Schwimmer and Jennifer Aniston made more money than the others. After the first hit season, David Schwimmer was being courted with movie offers, and his agents felt it was time to renegotiate his Friends contract. But he had enough forethought to convince his co stars to act as a mini union and insist on being paid equally. So that might have cost David Schwimmer and Jennifer Aniston initially, but by negotiating as a group, they not only gained leverage, but some job security. The show could easily drop one actor, but how could they write around the loss of all of them? So, what the cast of Friends was able to accomplish with their salary demands was historic and unprecedented. But even with Sister Sister beating Friends in the ratings, they weren't able to do anything close to what the cast of Friends did. Tia went on to explain how that experience on Sister Sister helped her develop a mentality that prioritized hard work over everything. Now, I have to tell you guys, I personally don't agree with this mentality, but I understand where the mentality comes from. Tia said, quote, "How I was treated is why I built my work ethic. Nothing came easy to me. I always had to work harder than. I've always had to be better than average. And I guess if I didn't go through what I had gone through, or if I didn't see what I had seen when I was a child, I don't think I would be where I am today, which is a hard freaking worker. Because guess what? It's hard to outwork someone." And that is what so many of us do, especially as women. We try to outwork our coworkers just to be seen and just to be paid close to what they're being paid. And that can be really stressful, and it doesn't always pay off. And that's why I don't advocate for anyone to stress themselves out at work, because a lot of times you do that and then you still don't get the equal pay, you still don't get the equal respect, and it never balances out. Leave a comment and share your thoughts on Tia Mowry sharing that her and her sister were underpaid for their roles on their hit TV show, Sister Sister. Do you personally feel like you're paid fairly for the work that you do at your own job? Leave a comment and share your thoughts. As always, thanks for watching.
Tells it all.